with Matsyendranath and his practice of Vajrayana.
So, I mean, did Goraknath not think that these practices were producing any fruits in
This is what
terms of
Goraknath said. Look,
attaining moksha?
yeah,
What was his problem with it?
because Goraknath said this is not the way to attain moksha,
Mm.
right? Because this is not the absolute practice. You got to understand what you are practicing. Right? Then he said, okay, the truth is there. Okay, Panchamakara is good practice, but the way you are taking it and understanding is totally wrong.
Because it's just indulgent,
Yeah, it's all
and everybody's an addict.
Yes, so like it's going on like that, right? So Goraknath debunked these things, right? He said, like meat, right? Meat that they were devouring, that means they were eating all this meat and performing sacrifice. So Gorak said, this is not the right thing to do. You're killing animals, innocent animals, killing them and eating their meat.
Slaughtering them.
Yeah, slaughtering.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
What was that story you had about, that was really horrific, about so many animals being slaughtered, do you remember?
Yeah, that is a festival here in Nepal, which is known as the Gadimai festival, And Gadimai is regarded as Durga. Because Durga in their story, we have Durga, right? And Durga was created to slay the evil demons. That is Mahishasur.
Yeah.
So Durga killed Mahishasur. When Mahishasur took the form of a buffalo, right? Slaughtered this and killed the demon. So people started practicing this in a very different way because it was more selfish thing, And they said, okay, so this is what we have to do for Durga. We have to give a lot of sacrifices, blood every time. So this in Gadimai, this is the area that they say because Bara Chhatra, all the stories are there. Bara Chhatra and then the Gadimai is there. And they believe that Durga slayed this buffalo demon, Mahishasur, in this place, in that Gadimai area. So that's why they have this huge festival of slaughtering buffaloes.
Yeah, like
it's still going on.
20,000.
Yes. Before
Blood
it used to be
fest.
heat and it was like sea of blood there.
Yeah.
So that was the practice. So all these kind of things were like coming out in a wrong way, right? The same thing was happening in Kamakya. Right? And Gorak said, okay, it's not that. It's what you mean by sacrifice is you got to sacrifice your evil ideas that you have inside yourself.
And your negative emotions,
Yes,
impure emotions, greed,
jealousy,
envy,
hatred, violence, anger.
Right.
So all these kind of traits, those are the demons
the
you got
poisons,
to slay.
the inner poisons.
Yeah, that is
toxic emotions,
Absolutely.
not killing animals.
absolutely. So Gorak, he didn't like this, so that's why he debunked them. He said, this is not it, right? The sacrifice is something else, right?
Right.
You sacrifice your head to Kali. What does that mean? It means like it's not that you cut somebody's head and give it to Kali.
No, it means
that
sacrificing the ego.
Yeah, the ego that is there, you cut it off and give it in the hands of the Lord, right? Of Mataji, so that you will become pure.
Right.
It's symbolic, but people took it in the wrong way. And even the fish, eating fish, and when we eat, they believe that they eat fish, they become like a fish. And, and then Gorak said, no, it's not that.
I mean, I've always thought that how those practices were originally meant to work in medieval times, giving the context that they were in, that many people who did these practices were in fact celibate originally. And so if you actually have sex with somebody you find disgusting, it's such a shock to the mind, it might waken the mind. And same if you're a vegetarian and you eat meat, big shock. But these days, I mean, for the hundreds of years now, people have had a regular diet of meat and sex and alcohol, a kind of regular night out in London, a Saturday night. And so how can these practices today have any effect or shock on the mind? and yet people are pretending that they're tantric and that they actually do produce results. So I'm also extremely skeptical about that.
Yeah, it is because it's all wrong, because it's all done for their selfish needs. And so they have changed this kind of practices all over. Others. Others. They've changed all the things, the norms and all, because it was also it was all started by the Aryans, that is the Brahmins.